Okay, we are back for another video, and today we're going to be talking about the impact that AI is going to have on your career path if you are in one of the most heavily populated jobs in the country, right? So we're going to be looking at 13 job classifications. I kind of combined a few on the data because I think they're similar, but we're going to be looking at 13 of the most popular, most common jobs in the United States, and we're going to be talking about the impact that I think AI will have on these roles over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what general time frame that impact will take place in, and how screwed they are on a series of 1, which is you'll be all right, to 10, you're really screwed very soon with the AI evolution. So let's hop in. And the first one we're going to talk about is home health and personal care. So that's I didn't realize how many people worked in these types of roles, right? But there's about 4 million people in the country that work in like home health and personal care type of roles. I think of like hospice workers as like the most common maybe example in my head of these type of workers, right? But it's a really common thing. And on a scale of 1, you're all right, to 10, you're really screwed. Um, I think that you're like a 2 or a 3 at that level. But let me be clear, it's not because of capabilities, right? Like you already have AI that are passing medical exams, being able to diagnose things as effectively as doctors, right? Like the capabilities from a medical perspective are coming. The capabilities of humanoid robots or robotics will get there over the next 10 years. The reason why this job is generally safe, in my opinion, is because these are people, if you think about hospice, or if you think about special needs care or whatever it is, right? These are people who are in a place in their life where they're going through a difficult time. They need a personalized touch inside of their home. And I don't think, even though functionally it would be possible, I don't think anybody is going to be quick to outsource that to robotics. There is a physical presence, so you have to combine the artificial intelligence with humanoid robotics, right? Because you got to have the physical execution as well. So that takes technical capabilities, but I think they will get there. The difference is that I really don't believe, because of the personal touch required, that people are going to be in a hurry to outsource this to humanoid robots, right? You probably will have to have an entire generation of people who have become more comfortable around robotics grow up and then reach that stage before people would be really comfortable outsourcing it into that environment, right? So I think if you're a home health worker, personal care worker, I think you're pretty safe, right? So let's move on to number 2: retail, fast food, cashiers, so retail people out there. And so I put all of these kind of together because I think they're similar. So I'm thinking like you go to the mall, right? You go to Target, whatever. You got retail salespeople out on the floors. You got fast food workers at the counters in your McDonald's or Chick-fil-A's or whatever. You've got your cashiers who are at your gas stations or wherever they're working, right? These jobs are all pretty similar. And we've already started to see automation get rid of some of it, right? The McDonald's kiosks, things like that. I think some things culturally, like, will want to keep a personalized touch. So I don't think it's all going away. But if it's 10.5 million people now, I think we're going to see that shrink drastically over the next 5 to 10 years, right? And I think so. I put this at like a 7 on the how screwed are you scale, and the reason why I say that is it's the capabilities will definitely get there, right? You'll probably always have some manner of people present, right? A manager, a supervisor, whatever, who's out in the McDonald's or in the retail store to observe things. But you're already seeing things like, I think Amazon piloted the store where you just walk in, grab something, walk out. It IDs you through machine learning off of its camera system and automatically charges you for whatever you picked up and took, right? So you literally don't even have to pay. You are automatically charged based on what you walk in and pick up, right? So we're already seeing things like that start to replace workers. And I think that's only going to evolve further and further, right? If Amazon's doing it right now, then Target will be doing it in like 4 or 5 years, probably, to some extent, right? And so like that's kind of the natural evolution of things. And so I think over the next 5 years, we'll probably see a big drop in that 10.5. And then in like 10 years, I think it's going to be way, way, way down to maybe like a quarter or less of where it is right now, because of moving all of those roles to different ways of solving the same problem. So moving on to number 3. And these are another couple of groups that I grouped together, but office clerks, secretaries, administrative assistants, these types of roles in an office environment, right? Um, this has already been hit heavy by your AI virtual assistants, right? You see those ads everywhere. They're all kind of crap right now, but there eventually will be some that can integrate into your data and your systems and your company effectively, and they'll actually be good, right? They won't require the overhead, they won't require the onboarding time, they won't take any time off, right? Like they will become really solid. Right now, if you were to piece together something really solid as like a AI administrative assistant, it'd probably be several different, like a calendar application, and then maybe like a scheduling tool or something that does like one little really small niche really well. And so some people can piece that together, but most people are still better off with a person in those types of roles. But I think eventually, um, it's definitely going to happen. And we've already started to see it with all of these. This is also a role that has been hit really hard by the outsourcing to like the Philippines or places like that, right? Like administrative assistants and stuff like that. There is a huge online kind of movement to offshore um, admin assistants, secretaries, things like that type of role. And so I think the things that drive that offshoring, which is basically cost cutting, like trying to get the same outcomes for less cost, are the same types of things that are going to drive adoption of AI technology. So I would say this is like a on the how screwed are you level. Like I think it's already happening to a pretty significant extent. As the tech gets better, it's going to happen more and more, and I think that's only going to grow. There's 4 million people in these types of roles right now, just around that number. I think that's going to be a little bit problematic for them over the next 5-ish years. I think it'll move a lot over the next 5 years in this particular space. Registered nurses is the fourth one we want to tackle. Registered nurses have about 2 million in the country. Um, I think these are like a four. I think eventually, like the capabilities are certainly going to get there. But again, I'll go back to what I said on kind of the home health, same reasonings. Um, is People want like a personalized touch with their healthcare, right? If they can get it, they want to talk to a person, and so I think that this probably will take longer to be adapted into like humanoid robotics and AI. Um, I think if I'm being speculative, the reason why I say registered nurses are maybe a four and home health was like two or three is because home health is it's a population that generally is in a more like sensitive or higher touch, higher care part of their life, right? RNs are more commercialized if they're in a big healthcare system, things like that. So it's more operated as in kind of an enterprise business than like what a home health high touch type business would be. So I think that's why I would give it a slightly higher rating, but I still think it's in not a bad spot, right? Number five, waiters, waitresses. About 2 million people who do that across the country. Um, I think you're solidly at like a 4.2. I would say a 4.2. And again, the functionality will get there. Obviously, some restaurants will probably adopt something, but I think it'll be more like a niche experience that people are like, oh, hey, let's go to the AI restaurant where they use AI waiters or whatever. I think most people who are going to dine out will still prefer to go someplace where there are physical people cooking their food, waiting on them, doing all of those things, at least for a couple generations. I think we've been too conditioned as people to want to interact in that way with people. And so I think it'll stay that way for at least a couple generations. Um, and I'm not saying generations like 100 years. I'm saying like generations of people, right? Like maybe my kids will grow up in a more AI heavy world and they won't bother them to go to a restaurant with like a waiter, right? But for me, I would anticipate for most of my life, even though I'm really into this technology, that it would still be more of like, oh, hey, it's a cool experience to go to the AI restaurant as opposed to like that becomes the norm, right? So I would say waiters, waitresses, throw bartenders in there, probably a four. Um, eventually the functionality will get there, so you don't know what's going to happen, but I would expect they're one of the safer end. Um, Janitors and cleaners. So this is one that probably a lot of people will disagree with me on. Um, I think it's like a seven. I think it's going to happen. I think in the next 5 years, I think 5 years from now, we will see huge leaps in both the AI and the humanoid robotics to be able to physically clean. And if that happens, these are the exact type of roles along with another couple we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. But like these are the exact type of roles that those are going to fill, right? And so I feel like it's going to happen. Some people will argue about like, oh, there's so many different variables, so many different things. They give you clean hotel rooms to walk in and identify. And I'm not arguing that that's not true. I just think the tech is going to get there, right? Like I think the technology is going to get there much faster than we anticipate, and I think they'll be able to do it. And if they can get the tech, this is a tech problem on this one, because if they can do it, then people will replace individuals with humanoid robots to do these type of roles. If you can get the tech there, right? That's the question. I think the tech will get there. In fact, just as a broader theme, I think the tech's going to get there on just about every role, right? So you need to be somebody who has interpersonal skills, creates something like intellectual property or something of value, and or like has really good touch with other people, like that human element. Um, to really kind of protect yourself, because I think for most roles functionally that require like skills, like I think most of the physical skills and technical skills, I think the tech is going to get there and be able to do most of those, right? So I'm gonna go a little bit faster through those. I don't want this video to drag on forever. Customer service, I'm going to say the same thing about this one as I said about office clerks, secretaries, admin, except for this one's like a 9, because people are already trying to build so many chatbots and everything on there that they don't always work that great right now, but people have been outsourcing overseas and trying to get rid of this as much as they can forever. So customer service, like you're really screwed. Like it's already happening. Laborers and stalkers, and by stalkers, that's STOCKERS, not like the STALKERS time. That's not a heavy profession, but stalkers, it's in like, the people you see that are, wheeling in the crates of pop to stock the shelves at the grocery store, right? Those roles, I think this is the same as janitors and cleaners. I'm gonna put them at like a 7 or 8. If the tech gets there, they're in trouble, right? That's the bottom line. If the tech gets there, they're in trouble. Um, some people will argue that the tech won't get there. I think they would probably, like, you can make a better argument probably for like cleaning because of the amount of variability than you can for like stocking shelves, that the tech won't get there. But I think the tech's going to get there, and if it does, you're in trouble. Um, Ops managers and GMs. I'm gonna put you at like a 4. So this is like if you're a general manager or an ops manager. This could be in any type of business, right? But I think it's like a 4, just primarily because for a long time they're gonna try to get rid of a lot of roles, but they'll want somebody to oversee the integration of AI into the business. So they're not gonna get rid of some of the leadership roles. So I think you're probably all right. Number 11, bookkeeping and accounting. So I'm going to split this in half. There's about 1.1 million people in bookkeeping and accounting. If you're a CPA in like auditing or financial statements or tax, it's going to take longer, right? Because there are accounting, there are industry standards that have to be accepted, and AI would have to be adapted into that, right? But if it's just regular bookkeeping, it's going to happen fast, and it's going to happen over the next couple of years. So if you're in bookkeeping, I would say a 7. If you're in accounting, I would say like 3. Truck drivers is the next one. About 1 million people drive trucks. You're like 7 or an 8, my friends. They're already doing self-driving. It's advancing rapidly. I would say in 5 years, that's going to be something that logistics is looking heavily at, is just self-driving vehicles everywhere. I think you're in trouble. I hate that. I know a lot of people who drive a truck, but I think that's reality. I think that a lot of that is going to be outsourced to AI. Final one that we want to cover today: teachers, specifically like elementary, junior high level teachers. I don't really know on this one. Honestly, I think AI will become better teachers than your average over the next 5 years. Um, the question is, how well will people adopt it? That's ultimately the thing. So I'm going to say teachers are like a 3 or 4 right now. But I think I read about a school in Texas that is piloting AI teachers right now, and it's doing really well from an outcomes perspective. And if people start to see that, maybe their opinion change. Based on public opinion right now, I would say elementary school, junior high teachers are more at like a 3, 4 level. But if people start to accept it, they could rock it up. So that's my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking about it. We'll come back with some more high paying jobs and do a series on that.